made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast, episode 24. Hunter Keister back with
K-Mac. Let's go.
Let's go. Starting it off in another week of sports. This week was so on the news, but we put together a nice show for you guys. And we are going to start in the NBA, as we just have to go over what Russell Westbrook and the downfall that he's already had with the LA Lakers, as he was reportedly shopped around and close to being dealt for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner and some picks. Go, finish his career in Indiana. So what is your thoughts on that, Kurt? As Westbrook is already not working out with the Lakers.
I gotta say, I don't think it's gonna work out too good. I think what's gonna happen is Russell is not being forced to stay in LA because I don't think anyone's gonna want to trade for him. And ultimately, the Lakers are just going to have to pay that $47 million that he's owed this year. And yikes, they should never trade for Russell Westbrook. Honestly,
yeah,
definitely should never done that.
That contract makes them ineligible to really move around with their cap space. It really
puts them in a bind.
Yeah, tightens them up with them trying to pay LeBron and everybody else, and then having $48 million for a guy that's so average.
It's one thing if it works, then
right.
The play speaks for itself.
Right.
But Russell Westbrook is a player that needs the ball. LeBron James is a player that needs the ball. It was never going to mesh. And then your supposed next best player, Anthony Davis, got hurt last year. And he's been shown to be very injury prone even when he was back in New Orleans.
Yeah, absolutely. He's injury prone.
So,
recipe for disaster for these three. And I could see a scenario in which Russell leaves soon, but I could also see them not really finding a trade partner and having to stick with that.
Who's going to want to pay that money?
Right. I would not pay that money. Nobody in the NBA would, I would imagine. Especially for what Russell has produced.
He played 34 minutes last year, 18.5 points, 44% from the field, 7 boards, 7 assists. Now, those may sound okay, but when you add in how many turnovers he has every game, he's a turnover machine. He actually would have led the league in turnovers had he played the whole season, but he didn't play the last couple games. So then Trey Young led the league in turnovers. But he's not a good shooter, and it wasn't never going to mesh good.
Right.
LeBron tried being the one to figure it out, but if it never worked with KD or Paul George, and I mean, even in Washington, yeah, his numbers looked good, but it doesn't affect the game in a good way.
When you're down because your team is terrible.
We'll see. I mean, maybe it'll go through if the Lakers just add more to their side of the trade.
Yeah, I think
because they're just virtually doing Russell for those three things.
The Lakers will have to make it a sweet deal for whoever gets Russell, because it's Russell and that contract. Like, Russell isn't this 5-star value, great driving player anymore. Like, he's way past that. He's average right now at best.
Yeah.
And who's going to want that average player with the great player contract? Nobody wants that. So the Lakers are going to have to really sweeten up their side of the deal if they want to get rid of him, I think.
But I think ultimately they're not going to be able to.
Yeah,
so I think LeBron, AD, and Russell are just going to have to make it work somehow. I mean, they got a new coach again.
Run it back, I guess.
That's just how it goes. It's crazy.
Those poor coaches in LA. One thing goes wrong, one bad season, and GM LeBron has you off that door.
It's crazy. It wasn't even his fault.
Right.
He just won them. Frank Vogel just won them a championship in 2020 during the pandemic season. So I guess that has some question marks, but still, I mean, considering they hadn't won one since 2009, I think you should just take what you can get.
Right. And he didn't have one of his star players the whole year. Like,
AD was gone. I mean, LeBron played well, exceptionally well, for this being his 19th or 20th, like almost 20th season. And being at his age, I mean, it was a one-man show for them last year. That's all it was. That's why LeBron averaged like 30-plus points a game, because it was all on him. And the rest of their team was just so old.
I think we will transition now into the NBA Summer League that finished up we have crowned a champion and an MVP. So we will talk about the game itself and who won MVP. And just some of the stats as we kind of wrap up the NBA Summer League this year. Portland beats New York, okay. And then
85-77.
85-77. And as I pull back up my stats for that game.
Brandon Williams scored 22 points.
Yep.
This was the third time Portland's played in the game since 2017. And this is their second title they won.
Jabari Walker with the double-double off the bench.
14 and 11.
Trendon Watford was 19 and 7 for Portland. That was their best player, so they must not have really had a good night if 19 and 7 was their best player. But 85-77. Miles McBride scored 17. That name sounds familiar.
Blazers just had the lead up to 16 in the third quarter.
Yep, I see that now.
Yeah.
60-44. Wow, good game by the Blazers. But as we talk about MVP, Keegan Murray from the Kings, that's where I got Sacramento from. He wins MVP, correct?
Yes.
And he had a really good
four-game showing.
Four-game
sample size.
Yeah. As a lot of people doubted him, but I believe, he kind of silenced everybody quite well with this play. 23
points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, shooting 50% from the field with 40% from three-point range.
Yeah,
out
of 4 games, it's a small sample size, but that is a really
good start.
Really good start. Obviously, people are gonna say, "Oh, he's playing nobody's blah 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 blah." Oh well, he outperformed everybody.
Hey.
He outperformed everybody else, every other rookie in the NBA. So give him credit, and we'll see what he does in Sacramento.
I had a feeling after watching him play us when we played Iowa,
he gave
solid.
I
had a feeling he'd be a solid player.
He gave us the business.
Yeah,
he smacked our. Oh my God.
He worked us for sure.
Woo! Yeah, he did us in. It was nuts. So good for him. I liked him as a player, and he's gonna probably end up doing big things in Sacramento. And who knows what?
With De'Aaron Fox there, yeah.
Who knows what Thunder Boy will do for the Thunder?
Chet, good old Chet. Watch what he do.
Chet. Okay, bringing it back, we are gonna head to the NFL, and we have to start with Kyler Murray and his new contract extension, 5 years. $230 million to a quarterback that has had some really good regular seasons, but in terms of the playoffs, there's really nothing there that warrants that much of money to me. And he's a young player, and it's good that you lock him down, but I just don't know if he's worth $230 million.
Well, unfortunately, with how the Deshaun Watson market, how that deal went down, that's really what set the market to what it is now. And every year, these contracts just get higher and higher. So you got to understand what market value is. Because now that Deshaun got that, that's what the rest of the quarterbacks are going to want.
Yeah.
Generally in that area.
Right.
Thanks to what Cleveland did. Cleveland started that fire. So now, the quarterbacks that are coming up from 2018 2019 are going to get massive deals. So, like Lamar Jackson, he's going to want some big money soon.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, for sure,
he's
getting big money.
He's going to get paid. If Kyler Murray's getting 5 years, $230, what's Josh Allen going to get?
Wow.
6 years, $350?
I don't know. For me, it's a tough thing to do, but it's like if you don't get him, well, then you're done for the next couple of years because you're not going to find a quarterback as good as him right now.
You're right.
Not just casually. So then, and they want to win now.
Yeah.
That's what every team's trying to do, pretty much. Unless you're a bottom feeder, but ultimately, he's a 22 and 23 win-loss quarterback, so he has more losses than wins. He had a decent rookie season. They won 5 games, and then 2020 they started out really good.
They started out 6 and 7.
They were
8 maybe.
6 and 2 They had a good record, and they fizzled down.
Yeah.
the second half of the season and ultimately missed the playoffs. They made it last year and went 11-6. I mean, he's always had good years, honestly.
Like, I'm not saying he's bad by any stretch of the imagination.
I mean, to me, he's a top 10 quarterback, so I can see why you pay him that money. I mean, he had 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions this season. I mean, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
And you got to add in the fact that he also likes to run the ball a lot.
Yeah.
He's a rushing quarterback.
He does great with his legs pretty well. What did he do? What was his touchdown interceptions the other years?
Rookie year, his rate was a 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. 20 touchdowns, 12 picks in year one as a rookie. 2020, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Okay.
So he's got to cut out on those turnovers. That's what it is.
Having double-digit turnovers most years isn't great, but I do agree with the fact that he is.
And he fumbled it 11 times last season.
Now that is concerning. Because like interceptions you can work on, you can get down, but if you don't have good ball security, that's really hard to just work on. You either have that or you don't.
I like Kyler Murray. I don't like. I mean, the size thing is just the biggest thing to me. Because I don't think he's gonna last long term.
Yeah,
with that size,
with him running it out
and running. It's not his main thing. He definitely looks to throw first, but they definitely add that into their offense because he can do it well.
Yeah. I guess if I had to give a final answer, because he's a top 10 quarterback, because the market is, I think he wouldn't be that much paid if it wasn't for Watson. He wouldn't have got anywhere close to that, but. He just waited it out, and Watson set the market for him, and Kyler Murray cashed in, so good for him. But if it was a regular market, he wouldn't.
So, I mean, moving forward then, do they make the playoffs this year? Say yes or no.
Oh, man. I feel like...
they'll sneak in. They'll get in the playoffs.
I think they could be the second team.
I still like their team. I still like their team a lot.
Their defense is okay.
I mean, Buda Baker is pretty solid.
Right. I just don't know if those weapons for Kyler.
Nah, they're good. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins, yeah.
He'll be back. I forgot about him for sure.
AJ Green as a 3 or a 2 maybe. Yeah. And then they had a pretty good receiver that was a rookie last year that didn't get to play a lot for them because they had a lot of different receivers. And they got Zach Ertz at tight end.
Okay, so
I mean, that's a decent.
I could see them being a wild card team, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean they start off last year and the year prior pretty good. So, and Cliff Kingsbury, I don't know, we'll see. But for me, he's a yes. I think he's worth it because then you're done the next 4 years, unless you think you find a better quarterback. But to be told. So I guess that brings us to, oh boy, who do we think are the best 3 running backs in the NFL right now? Who am I taking? We're starting off with the bottom at number 3. The third best running back I would take in the league. If I could pick any of them to start my team with. For me, I'm going with Nick Chubb.
Oh, okay.
Man, I fear that team every time we play them because of what I've seen what he can do. Really good at breaking tackles. His numbers would be even better if they didn't have Kareem Hunt.
Right.
That's a fact. Can't lie there. I feel like they just never give him the touches. They never give him the proper volume. When they do, they see he can feast.
Yep, for sure.
He's killed us a couple times in the past. I mean, I saw him in person literally just stiff arm a kid and throw him to the ground. So that was pretty cool. I'm a big fan of his game, and I think he's kind of slept on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's underrated for sure because of that Kareem Hunt and him back.
I believe he came from Georgia a couple years ago with Sony Michel the same year.
Yeah. And
he's definitely outproduced him, and Cleveland definitely hit on with that draft pick for sure. Getting him in, I think that was the second round. It was late second round, yeah. And I'm a big fan of his game, and he's just really good at breaking tackles, really hard to bring down. So for me, he's at number 3. This was tough to do, but I had to do it. Number 2 to me is Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. He really took off last year. Once the Colts learned not to share a backfield with this man, they saw what he could do. Had a really good rookie season 2 years ago, but just didn't get the proper volume. So I think they were kind of just keeping maybe more fresh for his career. Maybe, I don't know. Just not running him straight into the ground. And then last year he just went off. He had a really good, good season. Really efficient season running the ball. He can do it all. He can catch it, run it. He breaks tackles. Once he gets to that second level, he's hard to get to. He's really explosive. So for me, he's at number 2. And number 1 is still the king, Derrick Henry. For me, I'm not gonna let one injury plague season hurt his reputation. I know that might be hypocritical because for me, McCaffrey's not my top 3 because he's been hurt most of the past 2 seasons. That's different. But with Derrick Henry, man, he's a monster. He's a beast. Man, he's so tough to bring down. You have to gang tackle him. You gotta group tackle him. Yeah, you can't just one-on-one that dude.
Nope.
Not unless you hold on for dear life. But for me, he's number 1. He literally carries that Titans offense. He makes Ryan Tannehill look a lot better than he really is.
Yeah, absolutely, he does.
I mean, they stack the box every play against that dude, and he finds a way to score. I mean, we've seen him score 90-plus yard touchdowns against Jacksonville. I mean, that was no easy feat either a couple years ago.
He is absolutely incredible.
So for me, Derrick Henry's 1, Jonathan Taylor 2, and Nick Chubb's 3. In my opinion.
I like it. As for me, Kurt bringing up Chubb, all right, I'm going to be honest. I had Alvin Kamara as my 3rd best running back right now.
Okay.
Before you brought up Chubb, but I still, cause like
there's so many.
There is.
Dalvin Cook, you could even put like
man. I didn't even think about Dalvin Cook.
Because there's Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon.
Oh man, Dalvin Cook or Kamara. I think I'm going
tough.
Just because of the value Kamara brings to a team with his receiving ability 100%. And his overall being as a player, he's in my top 3. He's going to be 3.
You can't go wrong.
He's going to be 3. Ironically, I also had Jonathan Taylor at 2. I just like, he's a machine, and I watched him at Wisconsin. Because I love.
I was fearing that man. We played him.
I love like just pound the rock football, and he was so good. So I would just sit there and watch him play.
We saw him play.
Yeah, be in awe. He was incredible. Yeah, he didn't really do too well.
No, we contained him.
Yeah,
we contained. We emphasized that a lot.
I remember that.
Was that night game against Wisconsin?
Right, but he is incredible, and he is so hard to bring down. And he found his stride with the Colts, so he was at 2. And then, like Kurt said, I mean, the king, Derrick Henry, number 1 for me, easily, not even close. He's on another level compared to everybody else, and I just.
JT can make some big strides to take that throne this year, though.
Yeah, he could.
Because they're in the same division, so like we'll get to see games where they literally, essentially play each other.
Right.
And just wow. So for you got Kamara at 3, JT at 2, and then Derrick Henry at 1.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Kamara's good too.
Yeah, I think I'll take that.
I think he just
Kamara, Chubb, Cook, McCaffrey when he's healthy.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Those
McCaffrey.
Those are all interchangeable.
100%.
That's a tough 3rd spot. But if I'm looking at building a team and I'm looking at the overall value for a running back, like
right now,
to me, just you get better value for Kamara than you do Chubb. But Chubb is an animal in his own right, so it's tough. But
he would just have better numbers, like I said, if he'd have to share with Kareem Hunt, which that's just an addition.
Yep.
Because we've seen him lead the league in rushing his rookie season.
Yep.
Out of TOL Toledo.
Oh, Kareem.
Quarterbacks from the 2021 draft class of Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, and your boy Big Mac Jones. how they did their first year, and why do we think they're going to project out to be their second year if anyone's going to take a big year 2 leap. I think, in my opinion, Mac definitely had the best year out of anyone last year. Obviously, just actually starting the whole season. Taking them to the playoffs, I mean, he had his really good moments. Was more of a game manager, couldn't push the ball down the field, but maybe Bill just wasn't asking him to do that. So that's how that was for Mac. Justin Fields in Chicago had potential good moments. I saw him shred us. That wasn't fun. But, I mean, to have more interceptions than touchdowns, that's not a good sign. And that's what happened to a lot of these quarterbacks this year. So you could see potential with Justin Fields, but the situation there is not good. Yikes. That offense, snooze fest. Snooze fest.
And they really didn't do too much to help them.
They didn't add anything.
Yeah.
So that brings us to Trey Lance with 49ers. He actually played last year a little bit with Jimmy G getting hurt, and they actually just ran some formations in place for him. So his lack of volume wasn't there. Had a few good moments. Couple wins, couple losses. I mean, I gotta say, knowing that he's gonna be starting this year for sure, because they're looking to trade Jimmy G. That's also a rumor going around.
Right.
I gotta say, I think Trey Lance is honestly gonna make the biggest year 2 leap for me.
Let's rank them in order, from most to least.
How do we think they're gonna be? Like how we think they are now, or how we think they're gonna be at the end of the season?
The end of the season leap from
who's gonna be the best? Worst the best.
Yep.
From what we've seen, and how we think they're gonna do. Okay.
How we think they'll pan out this next coming year.
Oh man, because Zach Wilson played last year, had decent moments. Trevor Lawrence being the number 1 pick did not look too good, but Urban Meyer hindered him.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's tough. Okay, so I'll start from top to bottom. What I think is going to be the best, because that's what's easier for me. Whew. To me, Trey Lance is going to be 1. I liked him anyways coming out of North Dakota State and only having that one COVID kind of season, but to me, I think with that squad, I really think he's going to have a good season with George Kittle, Deebo Samuel. That defense is still solid. And San Fran was literally only a drive away from going to the Super Bowl. And if we think Trey Lance is better than Jimmy G, I don't see why he can't have a good season. So, let's put a lot on his plate, but Kyle Shanahan's a good coach and a good offensive-minded coach. So for me, he's 1. For me at 2, I'm going Mac Jones, Big Mac. I feel like he's going to take a good year 2 jump. And Bill's just going to kind of keep the game simple. Maybe let him push the ball down the field. Love a solid running game behind Damian Harris. And they always have a solid backfield. They just find a way. I like him at 2. So for me at 3, ooh, that's tough. Ooh, out of Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields. Ooh. You know, this is going to be bold, but I'm going to put Zach Wilson at 4. At 3, my bad. 3. I like what they put around him a little bit, honestly, more than what they've surrounded the other players with. They got Corey Davis there. They took that Ohio State receiver, didn't they?
Yeah, Garrett Wilson.
They had Michael Carter Jr. last year, and they added a running back in the draft this year. So they're trying to add him some offensive players at least. And I don't think he really played that bad last year, just with you got to think what's around.
Right.
And their offensive line's okay. Their defense isn't very good, so he's going to be throwing the ball. That's how they're going to be pushing the ball down the field. So I like him at 3. For me, it's going to be Justin Fields at 4. My bad. At 4. I like more from what I saw of him last year than I did Trevor Lawrence. I'm not even going to lie, because Justin Fields can run the ball really good. I mean, his stats last year from running were just pretty good, honestly. Led the league and led the quarterbacks in running for rookies. And for me, at 5, it's got to be Trevor Lawrence. Did not like what I saw last year. More interceptions than touchdowns, 12-7. Not a good ratio. And I understand we can bring up past quarterbacks that haven't had good rookie years per se. But I just don't like what they put around him. I mean, James Robinson got hurt, so they had drafted Travis Etienne in the same draft class as Najee, so that was 2021. We'll see what he can do. I mean, he didn't get to play last year. And at receiver, I mean, they paid a lot of money for that receiver from Arizona, Christian Kirk.
Yep.
They paid a lot of money from him, and I don't know if he's going to be able to show up like that.
I don't think so either.
I mean,
mind-boggling. I'll do mine, and I will start with my top one. And surprisingly, my top 2 were similar to Kurt's. I just don't know who I want to put at 1.
It's tough.
It is. That's really close to me because if Trey Lance, which he should get a full year, I just think he could take an incredible leap. But Mac Jones in that Belichick system for another year, and that offense is still better. But I like San Fran's plan around Trey Lance better.
Yeah,
so I think that just because of the setup, I'm gonna give Trey Lance
George Kittle,
the one
that
spot.
running game,
Deebo
Samuel, and then Brandon Ayuk.
So I think I'm going Trey Lance 1, which would put Mac Jones at 2. Still great in his own right, playing for Belichick still. He's got a pretty good arm, pretty solid quarterback, but I think he could still have a pretty good year. I'll put him at 2. My third spot,
out of Lawrence, Wilson, and Fields.
I'm going to go Fields. I like Fields. I think that he can develop his arm a little better, but I love his scrambling ability right now. So I think that I'll give Fields the slight nod at 3. At 4, I'm definitely going Zach Wilson. I like Zach Wilson's game. The Jets are trying to help him. They're still not really going to be there yet. I don't think they're going to be that good, but I think.
He'd have a bad season.
Yeah, but I think he could take
9 touchdowns, 11 receptions, 2,000 passing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, he could, and I still think he can be good. I think the 3 of them could be good.
They all can be good. That draft class has the potential to be really good if they all pan out.
My last quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, I just don't know, man. He didn't have it his rookie year. I know Urban messed with him. I expect him to come out, and he's got to really have a good year too, because Jacksonville could easily come out of this year and go into the offseason with a top draft pick and try to get one of these 2 quarterbacks. So Trevor Lawrence is probably essentially playing for his job, and I don't really see that yet for the other cases. I think all the other quarterbacks have a couple years. Trevor Lawrence could essentially be playing for his job this year, I think. So he's definitely probably got the most pressure. But as of right now, I'm going to put him at 5, I think.
It's just being that number 1 overall pick, there's just so much.
There's so much hype. Yep.
He's supposed to be the savior.
Right.
Maybe they'll give him some time. It's going to be, because you never know.
Right.
It's happened before. He just didn't show nothing good. That's what it was. At least rookies have moments of where you can see where the potential is there. But with him last year, just didn't see a whole lot of that. Not at all. 3,600 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, 17 picks, 2 rushing touchdowns, 330 rushing yards, 73 attempts. I don't know. The pressure, it's going to get cooking soon. That's all I know. If he doesn't look good this year,
yeah, he'll be on the hot seat.
Give me 20 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Yeah, you need to have a real big leap.
A good ratio.
Yeah.
A good sample size.
I just don't know if he can get that.
And I don't know with what they put around him, and then that defense.
That defense they're going to be very good either, I don't think.
They're just not going to be a good squad.
Yeah. He's just not in a very good position, but we knew that for anybody that had to go to Jacksonville.
Yeah, 100%. Knew it was going to be a rebuild.
A long one, too.
A solid couple years. And I think that's all of our topics.
Yeah, I like it. Another one in the books. Nice, solid, decent long episode for you. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe.
September 8th.
Follow. We're getting close to the start of football season. And we got some real big ideas and big plans for the football year. So I hope you guys are excited for that. And
7 weeks.
Yeah. We're just going to keep going through the all season. Keep getting these episodes out to you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. Episode
Share it. Love it.
4. Share it. Comment some podcast ideas. We need them. We really do at this point. We need the ideas. Let us know your top 3 running backs, what you think of our list. Feedback of what we could do. And I think that'll be it. Made on Ridgeway Sports Podcast. Episode 24.
We out.
Peace.